In today's world, emotional volatility seems to have become the norm. Whether it's arguments on social media, heated discussions at work, or people reacting impulsively in everyday life, it can often feel like we're surrounded by chaos. With so much emotional turbulence around us, it is easy to get caught up in the drama and feel like we have no control over our own emotional state. But what if, instead of getting swept up in the emotional storms of others, we could remain calm, steady, and composed, no matter what's happening around us? Stoicism offers a powerful solution to this problem. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." In other words, we have the power to choose how we respond to the chaos around us. Instead of absorbing the emotional volatility of others, Stoicism teaches us how to remain grounded, stay true to our inner peace, and not let others' reactions disturb our emotional stability. If you've ever found yourself getting caught up in the emotional reactions of others, stay with me through this video. We'll explore how Stoic philosophy helps us stay calm, maintain emotional balance, and remain steady even when others are reacting impulsively. Be sure to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom on how to navigate life's emotional challenges with clarity and composure. Let's reflect on this powerful quote from Marcus Aurelius. "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Marcus Aurelius. This quote speaks directly to the heart of Stoic philosophy. We have the power to control how we respond to external circumstances, including the emotional volatility of others. When people around us are reacting impulsively, arguing, or expressing anger, it's easy to feel as though we're being affected by their emotions. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we don't have to absorb that energy. We can choose how we respond, and by doing so, we can maintain our own peace and stability. This doesn't mean that we ignore the emotions or reactions of others, but it does mean that we don't have to let their chaos disturb our inner calm. By choosing to remain steady, no matter what others are doing, we take back control over our emotional state. Consider this. When was the last time you felt upset because someone else was angry or reactive? What if, in those moments, you chose not to let their reactions affect your own peace of mind? Marcus Aurelius' quote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed," teaches us a profound Stoic truth. Our emotional stability is within our control, even in the face of external chaos. In a world filled with reactive emotions, it's easy to get swept up in other people's turmoil. We see someone angry, frustrated, or upset, and without realizing it, we absorb their emotional energy. We might feel defensive, anxious, or even angry ourselves, which only adds to the chaos. But Stoicism encourages us to step back and choose our responses. Intentionally, we cannot control the emotions or reactions of others, but we can control how we react to them. When someone is reactive or angry, we have the power to decide whether we will allow that energy to affect us. We don't have to absorb their chaos. Let's think about this. When you encounter someone who is angry or upset, how do you usually respond? Do you immediately react, joining in the emotional turbulence? Or do you pause, take a breath, and decide not to let their emotions pull you in? The key to Stoic calm is not reacting impulsively, but instead taking a moment to choose how to engage. When we allow ourselves to be reactive, we give away our emotional power to others. By choosing not to be harmed, not to absorb someone else's emotional storm, we reclaim control over our inner peace. This practice doesn't mean we become indifferent or detached from others' feelings. It means that we can engage with others empathetically without losing our own emotional balance. When someone is upset, instead of reacting defensively or emotionally, we can choose to listen. Stay composed and respond thoughtfully. Ask yourself, Can I practice the Stoic discipline of choosing not to be harmed, even when others are emotionally reactive, by learning to pause and control our response? We can maintain our inner calm, no matter how others act, now that we've reflected on the idea of choosing not to be harmed by others' emotional volatility. Let's dive deeper into some practical Stoic strategies for staying calm when others are constantly reactive. 1. Pause and breathe before reacting. One of the most effective Stoic practices for maintaining calmness is to pause before reacting. In moments of emotional chaos, it's easy to get swept up in the emotions of others. However, Stoicism teaches us to take a step back and choose our response intentionally. When you feel yourself becoming emotionally reactive, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and center yourself. This simple act of slowing down gives you the space to choose how you want to respond rather than reacting impulsively. In practice, this might look like taking a few seconds to breathe before you respond to an angry coworker, or stepping away from a heated conversation before you feel compelled to argue. The Stoics understood that it's not the external event that disturbs us, but our judgment of it. By pausing, we create space for a rational thought, allowing us to respond with composure instead of reacting in haste. 2. Focus on what you can control. The dichotomy of control, a central Stoic concept, teaches us to focus on what is within our control and let go of what isn't. When others are reactive or emotionally volatile, their behavior is beyond our control. But our response is always within our control. By choosing to focus on what you can control, your own emotions, your actions, and your reactions, you regain your emotional power. Instead of trying to control the external chaos, shift your energy to controlling your own mind and maintaining your inner peace. When you focus on your own thoughts and actions, the noise of others becomes less overwhelming. For example, if you're in a meeting and a colleague becomes upset, rather than absorbing their frustration, focus on how you can remain composed and respond with clarity. You can't change their emotional state, but you can choose to stay calm, listen thoughtfully, and offer a measured response. 3. Embrace empathy without absorbing others' chaos. Stoicism encourages us to engage with others with empathy and understanding. When someone else is upset, we don't have to withdraw or ignore their emotions. However, Stoicism also teaches us not to absorb their chaos. You can empathize with someone's feelings without allowing those feelings to disrupt your own emotional stability. For example, if a friend is venting about a difficult situation, you can listen, offer support, and understand their feelings. But that doesn't mean you need to adopt their anger or frustration. By practicing emotional detachment, not in the sense of being cold, but in maintaining your own composure, you protect your inner peace. Ask yourself, can I hold space for others' emotions without allowing them to disturb my own peace of mind? This practice strengthens your ability to remain steady in turbulent situations. 4. Reframe reactions as opportunities for growth. The Stoics believed that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and this includes emotional challenges. When faced with someone else's emotional volatility, reframe the situation as an opportunity to practice your Stoic virtues, patience, self-control, and rationality. Instead of viewing the situation as a threat to your peace, see it as a test of your ability to remain calm. Each time you choose to remain steady and composed, you strengthen your emotional resilience. These moments, when others are reactive, can become your training ground for greater emotional mastery. For instance, if someone cuts you off in traffic and you feel irritation rising, use that moment to practice self-control. Ask yourself, how can I choose to respond with patience and clarity, rather than reacting impulsively? Each time you practice this, you grow stronger in your ability to stay calm in the face of external chaos. 5. Focus on your internal state. not external validation. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is that our sense of self-worth and peace should come from within, not from external validation. When others are reactive or upset, it's easy to feel like their emotions are an attack on you or your peace. However, Stoicism reminds us that we are the ones who assign meaning to external events. If someone reacts negatively toward you, it's not a reflection of your value. Your peace doesn't depend on their approval or emotional state. By focusing on your own internal state, your virtues, your values, and your sense of self, you strengthen your ability to remain unaffected by the emotional turmoil of others. By pausing before reacting, focusing on what you can control, empathizing without absorbing chaos, reframing reactions as growth opportunities, and relying on your internal sense of peace, you can remain steady when others are constantly reactive. Stoicism teaches us that the true measure of our strength is not in how we respond to external events, but in how we maintain our inner peace, regardless of what's happening around us. As we wrap up today's discussion, let us reflect on the core Stoic lesson. We can choose how to respond to emotional chaos, and our inner peace is not determined by the reactions of others. In a world filled with constant emotional volatility, it's easy to feel pulled into the drama and turbulence of those around us. But Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from remaining calm, composed, and focused on what we can control, rather than absorbing the chaos of others. Marcus Aurelius' wisdom, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed," reminds us that we have the power to decide how external events affect us. When we practice Stoic principles, pausing before reacting, focusing on our own emotional state, empathizing without absorbing others' turmoil, and using every challenge as an opportunity for growth, we strengthen our ability to maintain emotional stability no matter what's happening around us. So today, I encourage you to reflect on how you react to others' emotional volatility. How can you choose to stay calm, grounded, and focused on your own inner peace? No matter how others react, the more we practice this, the more resilient we become, and the more we reclaim our emotional power. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to continue learning Stoic principles and developing emotional resilience. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you stay calm when others are constantly reactive? Let's discuss how we can all maintain our inner peace in the face of external chaos.